Have you ever felt stuck in Fortnite? Like no matter how hard you grind, you can't just seem to break out of the low ranks. You load into solos, play your heart out, and yet it feels like the lobby is dragging you down while everyone else is passing you by. I know that feeling all too well. I've been there, frustrated, confused, and wondering if I'd ever get good enough to compete with the players I looked up to or once played with. But here's the truth, escaping low rank isn't about luck. It isn't about praying for bot lobbies, and it isn't even about playing 20 hours a day. It's about avoiding the same mistakes that trap thousands of players in the same cycle game after game. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what those mistakes are. Hey guys, it's Flo here, and in this video we're diving in deep into 13 of the most common low rank mistakes in Fortnite solos that are holding you back, and how you can fix them to finally start climbing the ranks. These aren't just random tips, these are the exact lessons that help me level up my own gameplay and break free from the same struggles you're dealing with right now. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first mistake is one you've definitely been guilty of, not checking your surroundings while rotating or taking space on the map. Most low-ranked players run across open ground like the world is empty, then act shocked when they get beamed from a bush, a tree, or some random angle they didn't even think to look at. Fortnite is all about awareness. The best players constantly scan, check high ground, and move as if an enemy could be hiding anywhere, even if no one's there. You've cleared it in your mind and can play more confidently. But awareness isn't just about looking, it's about predicting enemy movement. Watch for where players are likely to rotate, notice patterns in building or push timing, factor in popular landing spots. If you develop a habit of consistently scanning and pre-aiming likely enemy positions, you'll avoid unnecessary fights and stay in control of your rotations. Over time, this awareness becomes second nature, and suddenly enemies will be the ones playing scared, not you. The second you stop respecting unseen threats, you'll be sent straight back to the lobby. The second mistake is blowing through all your materials and items at the very wrong time in the game. You've probably seen players cranking 10 layers or builds in the first fight of the game, only to have no mats left for endgame. Or the opposite, someone hoarding 3 stacks of wood and never building until they're dead. Neither works. Your mats, heals, and movement items aren't collectibles. They're tools to help you survive key moments. Resource management is actually one of the biggest differences between low rank and high rank players. Learn to gauge when a fight is worth spending heavy materials and when to conserve. For example, if you're building against a player who's weak on mats, you don't need to spam full ramps, simple walls, and cone coverage may be enough to win. Similarly, know when to use healing items. Healing in the open is risky, but waiting too long can leave you vulnerable. Always ask yourself, is this wall, ramp, or shockwave helping me survive, rotate, or win right now? Managing resources smartly is what turns potential losses into clutch victories consistently. The third mistake is ignoring the information Fortnite gives you for free. Your audio and visual cues. Footsteps, glider redeploy sounds, gunfire, builds breaking, it's all very valuable information, but most low-ranked players treat it like background noise. If you're not paying attention, you'll get blindsided by pushes or miss perfect third-party opportunities. High-ranked players literally use every cue available to them. Hearing a single ramp break might indicate 2 players building in a fight nearby, while distant gunfire could give you a safe rotation window. Audio cues are especially important in endgame scenarios. Knowing where your enemies are let you predict their movements and preemptively possession yourself. Visual cues like builds, tarps, and shadowed rotates are just as crucial. Combining both audio and visual information turns reactive players into very proactive ones. Staying tuned into what's happening around you lets you rotate smarter, take better fights, and avoid dying to things you never saw coming. It's subtle, but mastering it will drastically improve your survival and fight efficiency. Quick break before we keep going, because I know if you're watching this video, you're serious about improving, and that's why I've got to let you know about Risen's tweaks. If you've ever felt like your game isn't running as smoothly as it could, or you're losing fights because of the input delay, Risen's tweaks has you covered. They'll optimize your Fortnite settings, PC, and overall performance so you can finally play at your full potential. I've seen players get insane results after using it, lower input delay, smoother frames, and just overall better consistency. And here's the best part, if you click the link in the description or the pinned comment, you'll get 15% off at checkout, or just use code FLOW when you buy it, it's the same discount. Trust me, if you're trying to climb out of low ranks, having your game run perfectly is one of the best investments you can make. Now, let's get back into the video. The fourth mistake is taking fights without thinking about trades. In solos, trading doesn't mean swapping kills with a teammate. It means never letting your opponent damage you for free. Too many players just swing widely, eat a big shot, and panic. Instead, practice smart positioning and peak timing. When you know a fight is happening, don't just rush blindly. Control your angles and bait shots that give you a chance to respond. Even small chip damage puts pressure on opponents and shifts control of the fight in your favor. Learning how to fight efficiently and effectively instead of recklessly ensures you stay alive longer, deal more damage, and maximize your win potential. Over time, your fights become more cleaner and more predictable in a positive way, giving you a huge advantage over players who still swing randomly and hope for the best. The fifth mistake is overextending after a win. You know how it goes. You just eliminated someone, adrenaline's pumping, and you instantly run to the next fight. Then boom, you're third-partied and dead back in the lobby. This is one of the easiest ways to waste a good fight and end up with nothing. Resetting after each fight is key. Take a moment to heal, reload, rotate carefully, and survive your surroundings before committing to another fight. Smart players understand that surviving the game is more important than getting highlight clips. Overextension not only increases risk but can also lead to sloppy building, poor positioning, and easy eliminations for your opponents. By controlling your pace and knowing when to stop and reset, you'll start turning early fights into consistent endgame opportunities rather than throwing them away. The sixth mistake is poor positioning in fights. If you always push straight into someone's wall or sit in the open, you're making life way too easy for your opponent. FORTNITE is a game of angles, not just aim. Learn how to use off angles, high ground, and natural cover to make yourself a harder target. Being unpredictable in your positioning forces enemies to make mistakes, overcommit, or miss more shots. Good positioning can win fights before the first shot is even fired. Additionally, repositioning mid-fight is crucial. Don't be static. Rotate to unexpected locations, bait opponents into exposing themselves, and always consider your escape routes. Positioning mastery separates average players from consistent winners and will drastically increase your chances of winning more solo fights. The seventh mistake is holding onto items or mobility until it's too late. Don't die with any sort of rotations. Use mobility items to rotate smarter, escape bad fights, and surprise enemies. A well-timed crash pad or launch pad can completely shift an engagement in your favor, especially during late game rotations. Players who hoard items often find themselves trapped or forced into unnecessary fights. Remember, items are not tools, not trophies. Understanding when to use them and when to conserve can be the difference between surviving the storm or getting third-party and eliminated. Strategic use of mobility is especially crucial in endgame scenarios when positioning and timing are everything. The eighth mistake is never changing up your pace. If you hot drop every game and WP every fight, you'll actually plateau. If you camp in bushes every game, you'll plateau. FORTNITE requires flexibility. Learning how to vary your tempo keeps enemies guessing, makes aggressive plays with slower, more strategic rotations, throw in fake pushes, unexpected angles, and unpredictable engagements. Changing pace not only improves your own mechanics, but forces opponents to make mistakes due to uncertainty. Predictable players are easy to counter, adaptive players are dangerous, and consistently climb ranks faster in even tournaments. The ninth mistake is trying to play every style, every weapon, and every role at once. Pick a lane, choose loadouts that fit you, and master them. Constantly switching slows your progress and leads to inconsistent performances. FORTNITE rewards mastery and confidence. Stick with a main weapon, know its range and recoil, and commit to a style that suits your strengths. Comfort leads to better builds, smarter rotations, and cleaner fights. Over time, this focused approach allows you to outperform players who constantly jump between strategies. But it's more than just weapon choice. It's also about knowing your role in fight and rotations. Are you aggressive and taking control of zones, or are you patient and playing for placement and in-game positioning? Once you define this for yourself, everything else becomes easier. Consistency allows muscle memory, decision-making, and awareness to all improve simultaneously, rather than being scattered across multiple styles that leave you second-guessing yourself in crucial moments. The 10th mistake is tilt. Tilt destroys more games than any mechanical mistake ever will. Frustration clouds judgment, ruins aim, and makes fighting riskier. Recognize your triggers, reset after tough losses, and mute toxic players. Maintaining a strong mental game ensures consistent performance, regardless of bad luck or frustrating teammates. But managing tilt isn't just about needing chat, it's about understanding your own mindset in the game. Take note of when you start to overpeak, chase unnecessary fights, or build recklessly. There are often subtle signs in tilt before it takes over fully. Some players use rituals like taking a few deep breaths, grabbing a quick snack, or even short breaks between matches to reset mentally. Developing these habits over time makes you much harder to break mentally, giving you a huge edge over other low-ranked players who spiral after the first few frustrating engagements. A solid mental foundation makes everything else, aim, builds, rotations, far more reliable in any game. The 11th mistake is relying too much on spraying instead of precision. Spamming your AR or SMG might feel safe, but precision and timing wins fights. Reset your aim after each shot, burst effectively, and learn clean peaks. High-ranked players use spraying sparingly, mainly for suppressive fire or finishing low-health enemies. But beyond just shooting mechanics, precision encourages better awareness of positioning and angles. If you focus on careful shots rather than consistent sprays, you're forced to think about where your opponent can go, how to control the high ground, and how to manipulate builds effectively. Over time, this style develops smoother movement, smart peak timing, and faster reaction to enemy actions. Practicing precision also makes endgame fights far less chaotic and more controllable. Spraying has its place, but relying on it for every engagement keeps you reactive instead of proactive. Precision builds confidence and skill simultaneously, which is what truly separates low-ranked players from consistent winners. The 12th mistake is zoning out. You can't just sit in a box staring at a wall and expect to win. Keep your brain engaged. Wiggle your crosshair, reposition, or peek often. If you're not actively processing information, you're already behind. But zoning out isn't only about lack of focus, it's about mental fatigue and autopilot behavior. Playing on autopilot leads to missed rotations, poor builds, and underestimating opponents' positions. High-ranked players combat this by actively forcing the brain to stay alert. Techniques Techniques like checking multiple angles, pre-aiming, and juggling builds and edits simultaneously force your mind to stay sharp. Even small habits like consciously wiggling your crosshair or shifting your position regularly improve engagement and reaction time. Staying focused throughout the entire game ensures you capitalize on every opportunity shown to you. Spot enemies first and reduce mistakes caused by mental lapses. Focus is a skill just like building or aiming. It must be trained consistently to be reliable under pressure. And finally, the 13th mistake is being predictable, dropping the same spot, taking the same rotations, holding the same angles. If you're repetitive, people will figure you out. Change things up every game, explore new rotations, shift from high ground to low ground, and use different build approaches. Being unpredictable forces your opponents into mistakes and opens up opportunities to third party or outplay them. But unpredictability goes deeper than just location choices. Vary how you rotate, whether you use mobility items or even the speed at which you push into fights. Switch up your peak timing, change your angles mid-fight, and occasionally use baiting tactics to trick enemies into bad plays. Over multiple games, this unpredictability not only keeps you safe from repeated eliminations, but also creates psychological pressure on opponents. They'll hesitate, overbuild, or make mistakes simply because they can't anticipate your next move. Mastering this layer of adaptability is one of the fastest ways to break out of low ranks and climb consistently in Fortnite solos, ranked, or even tournaments. And that's the wrap on the 13 biggest low rank mistakes holding you back in Fortnite solos, and how to fix them. If you take even a few of these tips seriously and apply them in your next game, you'll start seeing progress almost immediately. Remember, climbing isn't about luck or random wins, it's about consistency, smart decisions, and staying adaptable. If you learned something today, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which mistake you've been guilty of the most. And don't forget, you can use code FLOWN in the Fortnite item shop to support the channel. It really helps me keep making these guides for you. Also, make sure to turn on post notifications so you guys know when I post a video and you guys can watch it right as it comes out. Keep grinding, stay sharp, stay unpredictable, and I promise those low rank lobbies won't hold you down for much longer. I'll see you in the next video. Let's keep climbing together. I love you all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.